We've all become accustomed to seeing Casa Luna this way. Intricate lines connecting elegant spaces that beg to be explored. Stunning, but ultimately, until now, it's only existed on a flat page. A beautifully executed two-dimensional dream. Bones without skin. But today, we put some meat on those bones in a way that brings every aspect to life, from far away and close up. You'll see the walls, the interior, how the spaces flow when you're in them. You'll stand on the balconies, walk past the pool, down the main stairs. You'll discover how the light changes from epic sunrise to majestic sunset in each space. Today, 2 dimensions grows to 3.
All right, what is up?
I am sharing my screen. I just got this back from our illustrator.
Wait, say that again?
I just got this back from our illustrator, like, since I spoke with you on the phone.
That was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good.
We haven't even spoken, so he actually...
The thing is, not even 5 minutes after I had hung up with him, his wife Tina called me right back and said, "Get on Zoom now." And if you can't tell by my crazy person cackling, I can't believe my eyes.
Mind blown completely. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Dude.
I'm having very impure thoughts right now.
Todd tells me that a massing model is just a way to visualize the general shape and form and size of a building. He's produced a couple that you've seen in this series, and he tells me, much like the one you see here, they're usually pretty simple. But for this project, we farmed it out to XR 3D Studios just outside of Salt Lake City. And for a massing model, they knocked it out of the park.
There you go.
And I love hearing the excitement in Todd's voice too.
Ah, this right here, that curve is exactly what I wanted. Oh, God, yes. Super
That is
impressive.
mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
This couldn't have ended any better. Hope that works for you.
Oh, it works.
I
great
will
for me.
send you the link.
Since that day, Todd and I have both been walking obsessively through this 3D model just to see how it all fits together and comparing it with what we know from the stakeout. And what we've learned is the tour that you're going to get today. Let's get to it.
Okay, there's my timer. Gotta go.
Okay,
dude.
see ya. I just sent that link.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello friends! I think today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually really excited about this idea because it's going to be really cool. The biggest thing that I'm going to do is I want to get you guys involved. So I'm going to put that link to this 3D model in the description, and I'm going to let you guys go take a look at it, walk through it on your own. And I would love to have some dialogue down in the comments about what you think. What you think about the changes that we might be making or what we're considering. Maybe even alternatives or ideas that you might have for making the space even cooler. I can tell you for sure right off the bat, the 3D artist didn't actually have specification on the materials we're going to be using. So, you know, wood types or stone or anything like that. So the materials on things like the big mass element that runs along the stairs down to the bottom level, these are not the materials that we're going to be using. Some of the elements are not shown too. So the reflecting pond is not in this 3D model. What I want to do for most of this episode is walk you through these spaces, and the only talking that I'm going to do is maybe to talk about some of the ideas that we're having. Todd and I have spent so much time walking through this space in the last few weeks since it came to us. Todd has actually already kind of moved on to producing some of these other things on the 2D model that will go into the next 3D model, but the next 3D model is a ways off. It's a bit expensive to do, but anyway, let's get to it. I'm very excited to show you this. This is going to be super fun. So let's start here. This is, as you can see, a slightly overhead plan view. And the reason I'm starting here is because I wanted to show you guys how the light moves across this whole property. So we'll just go right here and I'll move the sun around for you. So let's see, right here is about sunrise, and the sun will work its way around this way till it's about this, and that's pretty cool. We'll do that from overhead also. Okay, as I said, this is about morning, right about there, and the sun will move around this way to about sunset. So with that as our baseline, we can move on to some of the other rooms. So we'll just walk in the room, I'll find a spot, I'll do some turns around, and then I'll show you the shadows. We're going to start out in the courtyard, and I'm going to have to navigate a bunch of stuff manually because there are no tour stops for some of this stuff that's out here on the property. So here we are in the courtyard, and we're going to run around the main driveway into the courtyard and head all the way over to the view as you would see it driving in from the road. So you got one big garage door there, another one there, and this space over here, well, let's just walk over there. It's pretty cool. This is actually a big storage space. Something like 20 by 20, I can't remember. I'm gonna have some workbenches and things in here. Out here is where all of our big 10,000 gallon water tanks are gonna go, and I feel like there's something else we could do with this space. I'm not exactly quite sure yet, but it's a good sized space. But we'll head back out into the driveway again. This is the car court, really, and we'll navigate back around. And in the main driveway, as you would see the house driving into the courtyard, preparing to park your car. So here we are, and you turn to the right, and that little cylinder right there is my office. It has some doors in there. There's going to be a desk in the middle of the room, some cabinets on the back wall there. You turn to your right, there's a turret, and in that turret is a fireplace. There's another fireplace on the other side for the car court, and there's another one up top. If you look up this turret to the sky, up on the observation platform up there, there's another fireplace. So this is a triple fireplace turret, and you can get up there by walking up these steps, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. The views up here are pretty much unobstructed. Out this way is sunrise every day. Out this way is sunset every day. And as you can see, we're above the roof line of the house, so we can kind of see Coyote Lake down there too if we need to. The whole view is presented here for glorious observation. And just a quick apology for the jittery hand-conducted tour. These tour stops are all the automated places that we're going to go through on the next part of the tour. So let's get to it. It's going to get a lot smoother from here. This is morning light, and it's gonna spin around till we get to evening right about here. Next up on the tour is out by the hidey hole, and take a look at how that rounded wall's shadows just sort of softly disappear. It's one of the great advantages of curved shapes like this, is these soft shadows and the soft reveal around corners. You don't get a sudden reveal of everything all at once when you pass a corner. Next we move into the kitchen behind the bar, and you can see out across the dining area on the right and down over the steps on the left, and how that light moves through this beautiful room. So much complexity. Time to go to the front door out in the courtyard. This is morning light, and it moves with beauty and grace across those curved shapes again. One of my favorite things about this design is the way that the light moves from front to the back of the house in morning and evening versus across the house left to right. And it means there's always shade on one side of the house. I love it. Let's move to a view of the kitchen from the other side of the counter. And you can see this is kind of a small space. We're actually not too stoked about the size of this. The amount of food that I cook and the way that I want to party in this place, this kitchen just doesn't feel like it's purpose-built. Maybe the best way to explain it. So we're working on that. Moving to the dining room, I'd like that fixed glass wall to maybe be an openable one as well, but we'll see how that goes. This is floating in space, no legs, but it doesn't matter. You get to see how the light moves through this beautiful space. It's quite incredible. The direct view out there is Anderson Lake and sunset. Time to fly down through the gigantic hole in the floor and take a look at the lounge area right there in the foreground. Grand piano will go in there, maybe a couch. There's likely going to be a bar down here, something else. I'm not quite sure exactly what this space will hold just yet, but probably mostly art. You'll be able to walk through that gigantic opening there into an open to above breezeway between the dam wall and the back of the house. Moving up to the doors into the theater, the design this room was based on is just a rectangle, which from an acoustic standpoint is a bad idea, but luckily my buddy Mike is an acoustician, and he's going to be advising us on how to make not just this room amazing, but the entire house. And it's funny because whole house acoustics is not one of those things most people think about, but we've all been in those houses where it's nothing but echoes and you shout across the way and nobody can hear you because the sound of your voice is all mushy and unintelligible. So Mike, if you're listening, I want to thank you for that kind offer. We have some pretty cool plans developing for this already that we'll share soon enough, but for now, we're going to move into the downstairs guest suite. This is a huge wall of glass looking out onto the patio, and I want to see if we can fit some privacy windows out on the left wall of that patio to let some light in there. Walking through this wall to the right, we can see the guest bath, and for me, this space was always way too narrow. It felt like a little bowling alley-ish and a little dark with no windows. So although you can't really see it in this version of the space, we've set to work to grow it a little bit so that it doesn't feel so cramped and generally make this a more beautiful space to be in as a guest. I'm not sure how many of you have caught this in a previous episode, but this goes down another staircase, much like the one above, and in the walls on the left are all the wine cubby holes going down into the ground. Probably at the bottom of this is going to be a big pad of dirt to help keep the moisture up and the coolness filtering into this space. This is a really cool way to have a wine cellar, I think. A little half turn to the left shows you the little powder bath on the bottom that's meant for pool goers or party attendees. It's a pretty straightforward little space, but it's definitely necessary if you're going to be hanging out at Casa Luna for any amount of time on the bottom patios. Moving underneath the master bedroom, we find a huge party space that has an outdoor kitchen in it and a sunken lounge with a fire pit and some incredible views. The green bit to the left will also take you back along the dam wall, back to the humongous opening that leads you back into the lounge on the bottom floor. So the whole back of the house can be walked. So it's actually in the ground, walking along the dam wall, but everything is open to above. You're actually walking underneath the front door bridge and the house itself. So this is a wider view of that same space, looking back the other direction, and you can see the sunken lounge, the fire pit, the outdoor kitchen. I'm not really happy with the placement of this outdoor kitchen, and I think we could do better on the orientation of that sunken lounge as well, just so that we're not limiting ourselves on views. That fire pit is supposed to be rendered as a column that goes from here all the way to the top of the roof up through the master bedroom, but I think we're going to take that out as well. Speaking of the master bedroom, you can see that solid wall on the right there is where that column would go, and there would be a fireplace in this bedroom as well. I think we can do them separately and use those posts below that you saw as support for this room. Right there in the corner where the glass opens is where the tub will be, and that will be quite an epic place to take a bath, I'll tell you. That balcony goes out to the sunrise patio, but there's some changes that have to happen there. There are so many crazy places in this design though, and I have to show you one of these. Being under the roof this way and on top of the hidey hole on this little patio, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And the way the light moves, as you can see back into the courtyard, is so complex and just gorgeous. And as if that weren't enough, we can walk over to this railing here and peer over into what will become the reflecting pond that lives kind of underneath the roof. It's definitely going to have some lighting on it that will reflect water, reflections up on the underside of this gigantic roof at nighttime. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. So back in the master bedroom, we then move into the master bath. Back there at 16 is the master closet. I think this whole space is a little too small too, and we've undertaken some efforts to try and expand it. And I think the ideas that are coming from it are really, really cool. But double vanity, big shower, toilet room, and a very big master closet. I slowed down the move into the hidey hole so you guys can get a glimpse of one of the coolest spaces on the whole property. Those stairs right there. What a great space that is. It goes up to the courtyard. If you're lucky enough to be staying in the hidey hole, though, you'll turn right and walk down this gorgeous concrete tunnel with a curve and skylights above it all the way around following this room. And you'll be faced with a gigantic boulder that we're going to harvest from the construction. Really, this is called the secondary guest suite, and it is a lovely place to be. It's partway underground, and it feels very tucked in. You'll have an incredible bathroom over there where you walk straight in, and if you go to the end of the room out there is a step-down tub. There's no tub above ground. It's going to be formed in concrete with a skylight above it and concrete walls. It's going to be the most incredible space. Moving out onto the private patio here for the hidey hole, you can see over there that curved wall on the left will lead you around and into the alfresco shower. And again here, light movement around that curved wall in a soft way is one of the highlights of this space. It's absolutely stunning. And the trellis shadows will add their character to this space as well. Here we go around into the alfresco shower. These walls are not meant to be quite this high either. They will slope and follow the grade from right to left. The views over the alfresco shower wall will be of Coyote Lake, which is, I think, the best view on the whole property. And not to beat a dead horse or anything, but the light movement in this space is also just incredible for the same reasons it is on the outside of this wall. Love it. Let's move over to the pool and spa and see what we can see over there. This looks to me like morning light, and this is what happens as the day wears on towards sunset. It's not shown here, but that hot tub will have an infinity edge and spill over into the pool below. That pool will have an infinity edge spilling down a wall adjacent to what is now going to be a new structure that you won't even see in this tour. There's going to be an adjacent sunken lounge down below there in the ground. Panning up, you can see the whole north side of the house, and there's the balcony off of the dining room, the patio for the guest suite number 1. And this series of 3 tiers of steps has now become 2, and we've opened up that middle one to be a gigantic patio with a fireplace in it. You can see kind of tucked behind the hot tub over there. And this is how it looks from the top of that space, looking down toward the hot tub and pool. There will actually be a gate right here in the foreground for privacy so that people can't just walk around when they drive into the courtyard. But that's something we haven't really worked out the form yet for how it might look and what the experience of operating that gate might be. Let's just take a quick detour and check out these steps that lead back onto the main balcony off of the upper level. And this balcony will take you around and back into the main dining room. Sorry for the jittery moves on this one. This is not one of the automated stops. I'm just driving manually. And for this episode, I'll take you to one final stop that's incredibly cool. It is back into the courtyard, looking down through one of the wings of this roof, down to Coyote Lake, in between the hidey hole and that green stuff there. Right down below in the bottom of the frame here will be a reflecting pool of about 4 inches deep, and it'll be casting reflections on the underside of this roof. It's just going to be an incredible, incredible experience at night. So there you go. That's the Casa Luna 3D tour. I hope you like what you see so far. There have been a lot of changes since this that I think we're going to get into. But I really, really want you guys to go click that link in the description to this 3D model where you can walk through all of this yourself You can go into any of the spaces. You'll use your shift key, your option key, your command key, your control key, and your alt keys, depending on whether you're on Mac or PC. Double click on things you want to rotate around. It's a really, really cool little tool. And if you're on a mobile phone, you'll pinch and zoom and two-finger rotate and all kinds of things that you normally would. So I hope you guys get a chance to go navigate this on your own and exercise your own curiosity about some of these spaces and to ask questions in the comments below. I really, really would love to have some dialogue with you guys about ideas you're having for how to orient the space, maybe some tweaks to make the experience of living here even better. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Don't be afraid to check it out. Spend as much time as you like exploring all the spaces of Casa Luna in this version of the 3D model. And let me know what you think in the comments. I'd really be interested to hear any thoughts you guys have. In the next episode, I want to get going with a construction company, see if we can find somebody that can build this thing and begin our initial talks. But right off the bat, one of the first things I felt like we had to do was to get in touch with a company that can build the trusses for this insane roof. And I am happy to say I think I've found just the people for this. So we'll have a little conversation with them, and we're gonna get some more detail on exactly what it's gonna take to build this thing. It's gonna be scary because I have no idea how much this is gonna cost out to, and it might be that we have to make some hard decisions about what to lose about this place. Right now, as it stands, I am totally blown away by this place. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see, because it does help me a lot. We already crossed 100 subscribers last week. I can't believe it. And we're approaching 2,000 views of this series already. I know that's tiny in YouTube terms, but this is a young series, and for it to go that fast has been really, really exciting. So I appreciate you guys liking and sharing these videos. I'm really having a good time making them and bringing you guys along for this journey. One of the things I've been working on in the off time since we've had another episode is also designing some really cool merch. We've got some cool t-shirts and some awesome logo products and some really cool stuff for the girls. So if you guys hang in there, I'm gonna launch it probably in the next episode and we'll get it up and running. I think Greg is the winner of the Bald Celebrity Lookalike Contest. He chose Jason Statham. Good job, Greg. I think most people would probably agree with you, except I'm a lot fatter than that guy. But for now, this is Building the Moon House, and I'll catch you later.